Good evening. Welcome to World News. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. First, the headlines. Federal government ASU meeting deadlocked, reconvene September 6. Nigeria has become the first African country to obtain Mpox vaccines. Mexico pauses relations with US and Canadian embassies. And on sport, Minister urges para-athletes to restore Nigeria's pride as Paris Paralympic begins. Now the news in detail. A meeting between the federal government representatives led by the Minister of Education, Tahir Mamman, and the representatives of the Academic Staff Union of Universities in search of lasting industrial peace in the university system ended in deadlock in Abuja yesterday. But the parties have agreed to meet on September 6, 2024 to continue discussions on the better way to resolve several issues highlighted by ASU, in which they threatened to embark on the nationwide strike if the government fails to attend to the need. Minister of Education, Tahir Mamman, told newsmen at the end of the closed-door meeting that subcommittees were inaugurated to fasten actions on the key areas of interest to both parties. Nigeria's Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Tunji Alausa, announced that the federal government has approved a 50% electricity subsidy for public hospitals across the country. According to him, this gesture aims to reduce the running cost for public hospitals and alleviate the impact on patients. The minister, speaking at the National New Psychiatric Hospital in Barnawa, Kaduna, also commissioned the electronic health records and alternative power supply at the Lawal Jafaru Isa Emergency Complex and the solarization project at the dialysis unit, which include a solar-powered borehole and a 10.2 kVA inverter with a lithium battery at the Abdulkarim Jika Yusuf COVID-19 Intervention Center. Alausa announced plans to rename the hospital as Specialist Hospital to broaden healthcare service delivery. The president of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Joe Ajero, has declared that the union will not be intimidated by external pressures following his appearance at the Intelligence Response Team headquarters in Abuja on Thursday. He was accompanied by prominent human rights lawyer Femi Falana, activist Deji Adeyanju, and other senior NLC officials. Speaking to journalists at the Labour House after leaving the police headquarters, Ajero asserted that the NLC remains committed to defending the rights of Nigerian workers and will not be cowed by any form of intimidation. Ajero further explained that his appearance before the police was in the interest of transparency and to clear the air on the unfounded accusations leveled against him and the NLC. He noted that the union would continue to fight for the welfare of workers and stand firm in the face of challenges. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Please stay with us. Welcome back. The managing director of the state transport company, Nana Akome, has stated that if the electronic levy had performed as anticipated, Ghana might not have needed to seek a bailout from the International Monetary Fund. His statement comes after both presidential candidates of the two major parties, the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress, promised to scrap the controversial tax policy should they win the 2024 general elections. The NDC has, however, questioned the NPP's flag bearer, Mahamudu Bawumia, who is the incumbent vice president, as to why he can't abolish it now since he is still in office. But speaking in an interview, Nana Akume praised the government's efforts to avoid the IMF by implementing the e-levy. According to him, the much contested levy was a homegrown alternative to prevent the nation from seeking financial support from the fund, which was often accompanied by harsh conditionalities. A year after seizing power, Gabon's General Brice Oligui Nguema appears to have his sights set beyond events starting Thursday to mark the coup's anniversary and firmly on elections next year. The Central African nation's new strongman who deposed President Ali Bongo Ondimba to end the Bongo dynasty 55-year rule has promised to hand power back to civilians next year. But Oligai already seems to be campaigning for the presidential election set for August 2025, touring the oil-rich country last month. The 48-year-old Brigadier General was already able to reveal in his popularity during Independence Day celebrations a few days before the anniversary of his August 30th coup of liberation. With Ali Bongo since then confined to his private estate, according to his lawyer and his wife and eldest son, held in conditions denounced by their lawyers, his junta-led transitional government has said little about the Bongo family's fate. Instead, it has claimed to focus on the return to civilian rule as well as the economic recovery of a country at once rich and underdeveloped, plagued by years of poor governance. We move to other parts of the world after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Chinese leader Xi Jinping met with U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan in Beijing Thursday as the two countries pressed ahead on stabilizing communications in their increasingly contentious relationship. The meeting was the capstone of a three-day trip that also saw Sullivan hold talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Central Military Commission Vice Chairman Zhang Yuxia, the first meeting between a U.S. official and Chinese military figure in that role since 2018. Xi said China's commitment to the goal of a stable, healthy, and sustainable China-U.S. relationship remains unchanged, according to a readout from China's foreign ministry. The leader expressed hope that the U.S. side will work in the same direction with China, view China and its development in a positive and rational light, see each other's development as an opportunity rather than a challenge. Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador is halting diplomatic relations with the U.S. and Canadian embassies after their ambassadors criticized his proposal to have judges elected by popular vote. López Obrador announced the move during his daily press conference, saying the pause is with the embassies and not the countries. He said relations will be re-established once the diplomats are respectful of the independence of Mexico, of the sovereignty of the country. López Obrador's proposal for judicial reform is part of a package of constitutional change he has been seeking, which have yet to be approved. On Monday, a congressional committee approved the proposal, and it now requires two-thirds approvals in both chambers of Congress. The reforms include a range of issues in areas like pensions and the energy sector, but they also include controversial judicial and institutional reforms, which critics say would weaken the separation of powers and see the disappearance of some independent regulatory agencies. U.S. Ambassador to Mexico, Ken Salazar, said last Thursday that he believes a popular direct election of judges is a major risk to the functioning of Mexico's democracy. Salazar stressed that judicial reforms should ensure the judiciary would be strengthened and not subject to the corruption of politics. Israel's military carried out raids and airstrikes in multiple parts of the occupied West Bank early Wednesday, killing at least 11 Palestinians in an offensive Israel says it is most expansive in years. The Israel Defense Forces confirmed it had launched a large counter-terror operation overnight with the Israel security agencies in the areas of Jenin and Tulkarim in the north of the West Bank. Early indications showed a significant combined Israeli operation involved drones and bulldozers, military and security forces, 4 battalions of the Israel Border Police, and an elite unit of undercover troops. Video obtained showed bulldozers tearing up a street in the built-up area of Tulkarem and also moving in convoy through Jenin. Additional footage released by Israel's military showed what it is said was a strike on the militant operation room in Nor Shams, a refuge camp near Tulkarem. Israeli Foreign Minister Israel Katz said the operation had been staged to thwart Islamic Iranian terrorist infrastructure, claiming that Iran was working to establish an Eastern Front against Israel. Up next is business. Please stay with us. Welcome back. And on business news, the federal government has signed a memorandum of understanding with aircraft manufacturer to boost the nation's aviation sector. This was contained in a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Tunde Moshood, on Thursday in Lagos. The signing ceremony took place in Seattle with executives from major Nigerian airlines, NCAA, and representatives from the airline operators of Nigeria. The minister said that the MOU was significant in enhancing the operational efficiency and safety of Nigeria's airline for growth in the global aviation market. The Nigerian Exports Promotion Council reported that non-oil export generated $2.7 billion in the first half of 2024, representing a 6.26% increase from the $2.5 billion recorded during the same period in 2023. This was disclosed by the Executive Director, Chief Executive of NEPC, Noye Ayeni, during a presentation of the progress report on non-oil export performance for 2024 in Abuja on Wednesday. Ayeni stated that the total volume of exports during the review period was 3.834 M metric tons, with 211 products exported, ranging from agricultural commodities to products from extractive industries. She noted that the performance indicates the Nigerian products are gradually diversifying from traditional raw agriculture exports to semi-processed and manufactured goods. She attributed the increase in export value to the successful transition of government in May 2023 and the policy initiatives under President Bola Tinubu's Renewed Hope agenda. Beijing said on Thursday it would not impose provisional tariffs on brandy imported from the European Union despite finding it had been sold in China below market prices, giving both sides room to breathe intense trade talks. China's Commerce Ministry said in a statement it had found the European distillers had been selling brandy in its 1.4 billion strong consumer market at a dumping margin in the range of 30.6% to 39%, and that its domestic industry have been damaged. Previously, the ministry had said the probe was expected to end before January 5, 2025, but that it could be extended under special circumstances. China has been canvassing the bloc's 27 member states to reject the European Commission's proposal to adopt additional duties of up to 36.3% on Chinese-made electric vehicles in an October vote, and the decision not to impose tariffs on brandy could be seen as helpful to its case. An EU Commission spokesperson said the development would not influence its decision on EV duties, describing the two investigations as separate. In a statement, the EU executive said it followed the investigation very closely, while its detailed assessment showed the merits of the investigation were questionable. Still to come, sports. Please stay with us.
This is Hillstv. Quality broadcasting is what we'll bring to you. Now we be this
Hillstv, Poker.
Welcome back. And now on sports news. The Minister of Sports Development, John Owan Eno, has charged Team Nigerian Paralympic athletes to redeem the nation's pride at the Paris 2024 Paralympic Games. The minister gave the charge as the Summer of Sport in Paris began its final chapter with the opening ceremony of the Paralympic Games yesterday. More than 4,000 athletes with physical, visual and intellectual impairment will compete in 22 sports over the next 11 days. Eno, in a press statement signed by his SA on media, Diana Mary Nsan, said the Games presented a unique platform for Nigeria to demonstrate excellence and determination on the global stage. Benin Republic head coach Gernot Rohr is confident his side will beat the Super Eagles again. The Cheetahs will be up against the Super Eagles in the 2025 Africa Cup of the Nations qualifier at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo, on Saturday, September 7th. Rohr's side defeated the Super Eagles 2-1 in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier in June. Rohr is expected to name his squad for the game on Thursday. Kepa Arrizabalaga kicked off an expected exodus of out-of-favor Chelsea players in the final 48 hours of the transfer window by joining Bournemouth on a season-long loan on Thursday. The Spanish international remains the most expensive goalkeeper of all times after his $71 million euros move from Athletic Bilbao to Chelsea in 2018. However, he has struggled to establish himself as number one at Stamford Bridge ever since and spent last season at loan at Real Madrid. He made 20 appearances as the Spanish giant won the Champions League and La Liga but lost his place to Andre Lunin before Thibaut Courtois returned from injury. And that's the sport news on World News. We move to the rest of the news after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Now to the rest of the news. Nigeria has become the first African country to obtain Mpox vaccines. It received 10,000 doses vaccines from the United States of America. Nigerian authorities have reportedly prioritized 5 states, including Bayelsa, Edo, Cross River, Lagos, and Rivers, with the highest burden of Mpox cases. Mpox cases have been confirmed in more than 10 of Nigerian 36 states. The ceremonial signing in Abuja Tuesday came 1 week after the World Health Organization declared a global health emergency.
Please hand
handover ceremony symbolizes more than the transfer of vaccines. It exemplifies the power of international cooperation in addressing global health challenges and local health challenges. We are aware that this vaccine is not exactly in surplus supply. I believe we're getting 10,000 of the about 200,000 doses that are available globally. Today's handover.
The U.S. envoy to Nigeria explained why Nigeria received the first delivery.
Nigeria government has put together a vaccination plan. So there's a plan how to use these vaccines effectively, how to make sure we get the most effect out of this 10,000 vaccine donation. So that's very much why Nigeria was chosen to receive this first batch. We will continue to work with Nigeria on efforts to stop the spread of the monkeypox illness. Nigeria.
And that's world news. But before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that the federal government ASU meeting, deadlocked, reconvened September 6. Nigeria has become the first African country to obtain Mpox vaccines. Mexico pauses relations with US and Canadian embassies. And on sport, Minister urges para athletes to restore Nigerians' pride as Paris Paralympic begins. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hillstv Abuja, Instagram at Hillstv Abuja, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hillstv. I am Jessica Magaji Joseph. Thanks for watching.